Hi, I'm Joe Freeman of the Oregonian. This is Mike Richman of the Oregonian, and we're bringing you a Trailblazers post-game video report. The Blazers have just lost to the Chicago Bulls 93-88 in a sloppy, sluggish, and mostly ugly game, although it did become entertaining with a pretty not back and forth, but a tight finish that more or less went down to the wire. The Blazers came out on a losing end, obviously, on a night in which both teams shot below 40%, and seemingly every all-star on the floor could not make a shot. Primarily Damian Lillard, who made just 4 of 22, although he did come close to recording his first career triple-double, finished with 19 points, 10 rebounds, and 8 assists, but he missed 8 fourth-quarter shots and never was able to find a rhythm and never could generate any kind of flow against what is a pretty stingy Bulls defense, and it was pretty fitting on a night that, again, both teams struggled to create any kind of flow.
Yeah, afterwards in the locker room, Dame repeated something he said a few times over the years, that he's willing to take shots late in the fourth quarter when he's struggling because he accepts the responsibility to make them, and so he has to accept the responsibility to miss them. Tonight they missed. Late in the game he had a turnover in a 2-point game, and then he got fouled with the chance to tie. Made 1 of 2 at the free throw line. Second one rimmed out, and that kind of was the difference in the game. Would have tied it up with under 20 seconds left. Blazers weren't super dejected. They wouldn't call this a moral victory because they're kind of over that after losing 7 in a row. But they were happy to sort of compete with the team and show that they can hang on a night when their offense was terrible, quite frankly, and their defense kind of kept them in it. And they were happy with that, but they would have liked to win, no doubt.
It's definitely going to be a season where they take 2 steps forward and 1 step back, where we see them lose a bunch in a row and maybe win a few in a row, and it'll kind of be this up and down kind of pace to the season. A couple of bright spots for the Blazers tonight, primarily, or most specifically, was Mason Plumlee, who was a beast all night. Got into a minor skirmish with Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler tried to set a screen. Mason Plumlee plowed through it. Jimmy Butler obviously wasn't happy about this, purposely tripped Mason Plumlee to the ground as he tried to run by him. The two got kind of face to face, had to be separated by officials and teammates, and eventually I guess Mason was awarded a flagrant foul, Butler was awarded a technical. That was at a pretty critical moment in the game with a little over 4 minutes left. Shortly thereafter, the Blazers tied the game. Their only tie since, what was it, 0-0, 80-80, I guess.
80-80, about 30 seconds before that.
And then, but never could kind of get over the hump. But Plumlee did finish with, 11 points, career-high 17 rebounds and 2 blocks. He was all over the place tonight. Had a crazy coast-to-coast driving two-handed dunk that was very memorable, and the dunk was started by a nice block by Ed Davis, who also had another solid outing off the bench with 12 points and 13 rebounds. And you know, we're seeing these Blazers bigs, they're young and sometimes limited because of their youth, and they're certainly not the largest, there's no girth to them like, say, a Robin Lopez or someone like that, but their athleticism is really shining through, and we're seeing them affect games in other ways and kind of become weapons for this teams in other ways.
Yeah, and Stotts had kind of resisted playing Plumlee and Davis together a lot earlier in the year, but the last week or so he's gone with it, and it's been pretty good. They closed out a game against the Clippers, and here they almost closed out a game against another big front line. So they're figuring out sort of how to play together, and they're really good on the boards. That they can really dominate with those two in the game. But kind of a sloppy one, and those guys aren't really potent offensively, so when the outside guys aren't working, it was a struggle.
All right, so 93-88, Bulls beat the Blazers. I'm gonna go eat some turkey. Have a good night.